Garrett was on Michael Malice's show. Hey, don't blame me for bringing this up. I want to let sleeping dogs lie, but God seems to think we need to discuss it.
Why is he talking about God? God seems to think what's now all of a sudden he's turned his life over to Jesus. Well, what's that about? Now God is calling the shots? I thought he was a Proud Boy.
I don't really feel like dredging this up, but Garrett was on Michael Malice's show. Hey, don't blame me for bringing this up. I want to let sleeping dogs lie, but God seems to think we need to discuss it. Garrett said that he used to look up to me, and now he hates the sight of my face. There's also this ongoing allegation that I enjoyed firing him. I mean, I can show you my texts where my wife that day said, "How did that go?" And I went,
"Show him, show us the text."
That sucked. No one enjoys firing people. I have said that there's also this ongoing allegation that I enjoyed firing them. I mean, I can show you my texts where my wife that day said, "How did that go?" And I went, "That sucked." No one enjoys firing people. I have said that there's instances where I have no problem firing people when they're totally inept and it's not working out.
You mean like Garrett? He's totally inept?
Like if someone threw 40 miles an hour and they asked me if they could pitch for the Mets, I'd say, no, sorry. I would feel nothing. Even once my mother back in Vice days.
Wait. So he's saying if somebody wanted to pitch for the Mets and they threw 40 miles an hour, he would say no. So if somebody's not qualified for the job, he wouldn't hire them. But Garrett was qualified for the job and he fired him. Garrett worked there 10 years. So his argument, his analogy is so inept, so laughable that he said, I wouldn't hire somebody to pitch for the Mets if he pitched 40 miles an hour. Okay. But Garrett was already working there. You weren't hiring somebody who was not qualified for the job. Garrett was qualified for the job and he already was there. You weren't there to hire him. You were there to fire him.
She submitted an article to Vice. And I didn't feel bad saying no because she put herself out there. For the Mets, I'd say, no, sorry. I would feel nothing. Even once my mother back in Vice days, she submitted an article to Vice. And I didn't feel bad saying no because she...
Okay, again, she doesn't work there and you fired her. She was looking for a little gig to have her article in Vice magazine or whatever the fuck. And again, she wasn't qualified. It would be clearly nepotism. Garrett's not nepotism. You fucking clown. The problem with him and Comey, they both think they're smarter than everybody. So these analogies he's making are so fucking ridiculous.
She put herself out there.
Right. So you're comparing your mom who wanted an article printed in a magazine to firing Garrett, who worked there 10 years. Again, Garrett wasn't asking for a job. He already worked there.
But in that article, in that interview, he says that I said, how about that Luby, huh? And he goes, fuck you, Gavin. I'm not going to commiserate with you. Luby's my friend, but you did commiserate with me. Garrett said, yeah, I don't know why they hired her. Well, we're cutting all the fat, and then they tell me we have this press woman. That's why I went to you to say, can you believe this Luby shit? Like, why is she talking so much? She's got to go, obviously. And he was like, why are you talking to me about my friend? Because we did in the past.
Yeah, but you just fired him. So now you still want to be pals? This guy's an idiot.
Oh, that's when she first got there?
No, like 2 weeks before. Garrett was like, I don't know. I remember when they hired Luby, we were cutting corners and then they started hiring people. I didn't understand. He wasn't like, fuck her or anything. Garrett's never said a bad word about anyone except me.
God bless Garrett and the United States of America.
He's also the reason I hate Michael Malice, if we're spilling beans, because I said Malice, blah, blah, blah. I discovered him. He was a fan. And then he said, yeah, he doesn't say the same about you. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, he'll be talking and he'll say, Yeah, that Gavin, he's not the good guy everyone thinks he is. He's actually a pretty shitty person.
People think you're a good guy. I'm unfamiliar with that.
I'm paraphrasing. And so I thought, that motherfucker, he's so smarmy to my face and he's talking shit behind my back after everything I've done for him. And by the way, Malice keeps saying, yeah, I've burned a lot of bridges. I haven't burned any bridges. I get along with...
What? Dude, you're on everybody's watch list. Everybody's. Literally everybody's. But now he's like, everyone likes me. Except the FBI and the ATF.
Everyone at the Blaze. My old ad agency, Rooster, we still talk on the phone all the time. I obviously don't...
CIA, Secret Service.
Get along with Vice after being ousted and denied hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not exactly the ingredients for a great friendship. But after that, I mean, Crowder, I don't think that bridge is not sustainable. Does anyone who's worked with Crowder get along with him? I'm not even mad at him. So I don't know where Malice gets that from. But anyway, the next time I saw him, he was like, hey, how's it going? I was like, fuck you. I shoved him. And that was because of Garrett.
I was there for that. You pushed him against the wall. And then he looked at me and I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
So first of all, Michael Malice, I ran into him on the street. Michael Malice is like 4 feet tall. I'm not even kidding. Like, usually I don't kind of recognize, like if I'm talking to a dude or run into a dude on the street, I'm not like I said, I didn't know Bobby Kelly was short until they took a picture of him with Jim Norton and Sam. I'm like, wow, Bobby Kelly's short. It just never hit me. Never resonated with me. But fucking Michael Malice is literally nothing. He's a 4 feet, and that might be being nice. He's probably 5 feet tall if he's lucky.
So these guys are out there in the wild. They're going to see how hard it is to make money. But this is what I said. You did an excellent job for a company that generated enough money to pay you forever. This is me texting Garrett.
Okay, then why don't they keep paying him? They generate enough money to pay him forever.
You're the victim of bad management, New York City, Anthony's health, etc. You're no Eric Adams. I never saw you as an employee. I looked up to you as someone who knew the industry way more than me. This sucks. I'm sorry. I said, my name is Mudd, and it's not likely I can help you in the future, but I am forever indebted to you and will be happy.
This is him texting Garrett.
To help if you ever need anything at all, unlikely as that may be. That's what I said to Garrett the night after I fired him. And then with Drew, what did I say? Oh, I thought I sent him something similar. Oh, yeah, I go, when I talked about the top heavy management at Compound, I never meant you. I always said Drew and Garrett are basically the only two who earn their keep. So I don't know why God wants me to talk about this.
God.
It just came down to, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Sorry, guys. And if you're so viable in the free market, then bye-bye. Like Michael Malice left Compound Media. They weren't paying him enough or whatever his reasoning was. I don't really feel like dredging this up, but Garrett was on Michael Malice's show. Hey, don't blame me for bringing this up. I want to let sleeping dogs lie, but God seems to think.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Also, yeah, the point I wanted to make also, Gavin didn't hire these people. I can take this down. Gavin didn't hire these people. So, a lot of times in a takeover, the previous administration is gone. Like, a lot of times that happens in TV, like HBO buys somebody or whatever, or there's a new person in charge at HBO and they fire everybody, or a network, they fire everybody. Everybody kind of expects that. But so then you get fired by the new people because they're like, well, we don't know you. We don't like you. Bye. So in Gavin's case, he keeps talking about, I wouldn't hire my mom, or I wouldn't hire somebody who threw it 40 miles an hour to pitch for the Mets. Okay, we're not asking you to hire somebody who's incompetent. Garrett was clearly competent. But the problem was Cumia hired them. So Cumia should fire them. That's just how it should go. So if Cumia was gone, that'd be one thing. But Cumia's still there. So Cumia hired Garrett and Drew and Steve and Luby. So he should fire them, not Gavin. and then compare it to not hiring somebody who's not qualified. You weren't asked to hire somebody who's not qualified. You were asked to fire somebody who was extremely qualified, and you enjoyed it because you told your wife, "Oh, that sucked." But again, Cumia should have fired them because he hired them and he was still on board. But Cumia's a coward. He was talking about in his show yesterday. I watched it for 10 minutes. He was like, "Yeah, they don't, talking about how he doesn't like confrontation." Another way of like, I don't like confrontation. Another way of saying he's a coward. Nobody will say it, but I'll say it. He's a coward. His hero, Joe Rogan. You remember Joe Rogan went up to Carlos Mencia at the Comedy Store and challenged him for stealing people's jokes? And again, that took a lot of balls for Joe Rogan because Mencia was the biggest comic in the country at that point, definitely at the Comedy Store. Rogan got a lot of shit for doing that, but it was extremely confrontational. That's what made it like so fucking juicy. While he was doing a set, he walked up on stage, extremely confrontational. But Cumia's like, "I'm just like Joe Rogan. You're a coward, Cumia. You're a fucking coward." But he's like, and then Gavin's like, I wouldn't hire somebody who couldn't throw it 40 miles an hour. You fucking loser. You fucking loser. No, he didn't want to commiserate you after you fired him. I mean, Gavin's another delusional clown. Why? Because he wears a suit and a tie? He's smarter than everybody? I mean, and he puts gel in his hair? What a fucking clown. I'm so glad I'm done with these clowns. Oh, man. What a clown. What a fucking absolute clown. And then he throws Michael Malice up against the wall. I mean, Michael Malice is literally probably not 5 feet tall.
We were cutting corners, and then they started hiring people. I didn't understand. He wasn't like, "Fuck her" or anything. Garrett's never.
I guess I didn't put this on. God damn it.
I don't really feel like dredging this up, but Garrett was on Michael Malice's show. Hey, don't blame me for bringing this up. I want to let sleeping dogs lie, but God seems to think we need to discuss it. Garrett said that he used to look up to me, and now he hates the sight of my face. There's also this ongoing allegation that I enjoyed firing him. I mean, I can show you my texts where my wife that day said, "How did that go?" And I went, "That sucked." No one enjoys firing people. I have said that there's instances where I have no problem firing people when they're totally inept and it's not working out. Like if someone threw 40 miles an hour and they asked me if they could pitch for the Mets, I'd say, "No, sorry." I would feel nothing. Even once my mother back in Vice days, she she submitted an article to Vice. And I didn't feel bad saying no because she put herself out there. But in that interview, he says that I said, "How about that Luby, huh?" And he goes, "Fuck you, Gavin. I'm not going to commiserate with you. Luby's my friend." But you did commiserate with me.
Yeah. Before you fired him. That's just what you do with you talk shit about other employees. I mean, he just these stupid motherfuckers. I'd be like, "I'm smart. I started the Proud Boys. I used to work at Vice. I wear a suit and tie. I'm a somebody."
Garrett said, "Yeah, I don't know why they hired her. Well, we're cutting all the fat, and then they tell me we have this press woman." That's why I went to you to say, "Can you believe this Luby shit? Like, why is she talking so much? She's got to go, obviously." And he was like, "Why are you talking to me about my friend?" Because we did in the past.
Oh, that's when she first got there?
No, like 2 weeks before.
Right. Even Agent Pat Dixon's like, "Oh, you mean when they first hired her?" Go, no. 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before they fired him. So Garrett's probably thinking, like, if they're firing everybody, why don't we have Luby? Because Luby's obviously extra personnel. We don't really need a public relations person for the Titanic. But Gavin can't figure it out, like, why Garrett didn't want to be palsies after he fired them all. "Hey, you guys want to go get a taco?"
Garrett was like, "I don't know. I remember when they hired Luby, we were cutting corners, and then they started."
Exactly how he talks. That's spot on. Well done. It's like Rich Little.
hiring people I didn't understand. He wasn't like fuck her or anything. Garrett's never said a bad word about anyone except me.
Right.
He's also the reason I hate Michael Malice. If we're spilling beans.
Okay. I can't listen to more Michael Malice. Also, Garrett and Steve, if you're watching, stay away from Gino Bisconte. Gino Bisconte's a loser. So Gino's tricking Garrett and Steve into doing shows with him, on a couple day a week basis. And then Garrett and Steve do their own show. But first of all, they're probably overexposed at this point. Second of all, Gino's using them because Gino knows him by himself is a disaster. Him with Keanu is a disaster. So he's like, at least Garrett and Steve, people like them. So, but Garrett and Steve, Gino's going to take you down. That's a fact. Just like he takes everybody down. Kumi's literally talking about yesterday on a show. You can go there right now. It's on Compound Media on YouTube from yesterday. Kumi's actually explaining how much drinking he did because of Gino. And it all started really because Gino got the 2:00 time slot. For forever, Gino wasn't at the 2:00 slot. So, first he was like once a week. Then when he did 4 days a week, he was in the morning. Then he was like noon or something. But then once I left, and then they're like, we'll just put Gino in he wasn't there for a pretty long time. And then once he got the 2:00 spot before Cumia every day, that was the end of Compound Media. That was just literally the end. So Garrett and Steve, I would avoid Gino. Everybody thinks I'm kidding, of course, because I'm so funny. But I'm 100% serious. Garrett and Steve, if you want to make any money and prolong this adventure you're taking, the podcast adventure, stay away from Gino. Gino's a fucking loser. Gino will take everybody down. He has. Not only Willie, he has. All right, I don't want to do a long show today, so I'm going to send a link to somebody you guys do not like. And feel free to jump off because it's hot and I fucking had it with these losers. It's just, even the quote unquote smart guys are fucking idiots. Kumia's talking about yesterday. I was going to watch clips, but it's just like the whole, non-confrontational and he is. He's a fucking coward. Joe Rogan. That was a very fucking ballsy thing to do when he went up against Carlos Mencia. Very ballsy. That's it. First of all, Mencia had the mic. Rogan didn't. They eventually gave Rogan a mic. Somebody brought him a mic. But for the first half, Rogan was fighting with Mencia. Mencia had the mic and Rogan didn't. So you're at a huge disadvantage. Just like when you get heckled, most of the people can't hear the heckler. They can hear you on the mic. So you're usually going to win. So Rogan stood his ground. And again, I wouldn't have done it. Most people wouldn't have done it. But Rogan is he's confrontational. Kumi is a coward. But he's like, me and Joe Rogan wrote the foreword to my book. He thinks I'm a manly man. Let me see what he said. Anthony's one of the funniest, smartest guys I've ever done radio with an unapologetically masculine man, which is an increasingly rare thing in this ever pussified world we find ourselves in. Joe Rogan, advanced praise for spare me. That's not a forward, but advanced praise. So Joe Rogan, I guess, gave him that advanced praise before he was a coward and wouldn't even go to his own firing. But Kumia mentioned that yesterday. I'm non-confrontational. Just ask the people at Compound Media. It's laughable. So there you go. Still waiting on KB to offer Garrett a job. Move on, old man. This is beyond tiring to listen to. Okay. No, I'd offer Garrett a job, but the fact that the great Gavin is like, he makes these analogies that are so weak, and it's just like, just shut the fuck up, man. And then he's like, yeah, you're going to win. And Garrett, I'm not kidding. Garrett and Steve, stay away from Gino. Gino's fucking up your money because what Gino wants to do is he wants to get super chats, even though Gino's not a YouTuber. Gino wants to get super chats while you're there with them and then get his cut. But all it does is hurt your own money when you go live later. That's a fact. You don't want to be on too much.
You're like the old man at the beginning of the horror movie that tries to warn the campers about the evil.
I am correct.
In the woods, right? This is very nice of you to do that to him.
Gavin is a mountie. He certainly mounted Kumia. Oh, you think they're gay for each other?
Here's what happened with Garrett here is that he realizes he's trying to save face. I do believe that he took a lot of negative press, whatever you want to call it. He took a lot of bad heat for having to fire Garrett and Steve. And now he's doing whatever he can to try to save face. He doesn't want to continue to take hits from Garrett and Steve. He's trying to now
He wants to
demonize
move
them.
on.
Or demonize those guys so he doesn't look so bad anymore in everyone's eyes.
Yeah, but he can't demonize Garrett and Steve because people liked them, and that's
Right.
what Gino realized once Garrett and Steve were fired and Gino wasn't, and then people are like, why are you firing Garrett and Steve and keeping Gino? And then they fired Gino kind of too and Chrissy, and now Gino's like, holy shit, nobody likes me, nobody likes Gino except for Kumia. So then Gino figured that part out. So he's like, let me attach myself to Garrett and Steve as much as possible. But it's dragging down Garrett and Steve now because they do a show with Gino. I guess they did one with Gino yesterday, and today they did one. Then later on they do their own show. They have to, people are gonna they don't have enough fans to be doing all these shows. Like, concentrate your fans on one show and stay away from Gino. Gino will be like, no, this is great. This is exactly how we wanted it. Gino's basically said the opposite. He was in a car with a canoe, and he was saying, he just prefers being in a studio. He'll do the thing where we're in the different boxes, but and again, Gino is what he is. So in the studio, he was like, he was on TV and he's bouncing back and forth the guest and the booth. So that's what he wants to do, but it's gone. Now he goes to Drew's apartment and he pretends that's like, because they're in person, and it's like, it don't matter. Gino's done.
Right, and he used to always go, this is my desk. He used to make a big deal out of how proud he was of Compound Media, something that he
was
never...
a proud boy.
Yeah, he was proud of being a proud boy. Never really earned that spot. He just failed upwards.
It wasn't his desk.
He failed upwards the whole time.
Desk.
And then, yeah, you were right. Like, when you go into that studio, if you don't know shit about shit, it does seem like a big deal. You said it yourself. Your son, when he came with you to Compound Media the first time, he thought he was going into some big network television or something like that. You can have the facade of this is just some great, amazing thing, and now look, it's gone. He's got nothing. So
Gavin shoved Malice up his third input to own the libs.
Yeah, Gavin used to put stuff into his ass.
He did?
Yeah.